How to win the day. Now, I've spent a lot of my life living in like an anxious shell of myself. I used to drink way too much booze. Maybe I'd even class myself as an alcoholic, but I hate that term. I've been drifting for a lot of my life. I've always felt like a bit of a victim, like other people have had it easier, or I'd blame my circumstances, but not anymore. I'm a man of purpose, integrity, and I am ploughing forwards with great gusto. In this video, I just want to share some of the rules, some of the things I sort of tell myself every day that have just made living life easier. And I like to call it winning the day. Now, it takes a bit of time to install these into your brain and just to get it to sort of sink. But the more I read these things, so I've got them written down and I have them on my sort of wall in front of me, my little office, my command center, if you will. But it just works every time. The more you read these things, the more you believe it, the more you sink in. It just helps you get through each day and just win a little bit more. So the first rule I've got for myself is past and future do not exist, only the now. What steps can I take that day to get closer to my goals? And this is something that I do struggle with, I'll be totally honest, because I haven't got everything figured out. I'm still learning, I'm still improving, I'm still getting better, but I'm a far cry ahead of the man I was 6 years ago that kept waking up with panic attacks and hangovers. But anyway, I digress. It's difficult because a lot of us, we get hung up on the past, don't we? We get hung up on the things we've done, the mistakes we've done, oh, what if I could have changed that? Or what if I could have done this? Like, hindsight is a wonderful thing, but the past is the past. You can't change anything. And that's something I'm coming to terms with now. I try not to think about the bad things in the past too much, although they do come in. And what I try and do is just sit with them and just let them pass by like leaves in a stream. What I try and remind myself now is of the good things I've done, the things I've done that have forged me into the man I am today. Maybe it's a good PB on a run or something hard I've accomplished, or those little things remind you that you can do things. So when you start like a new project or you start something new and you feel like you're in the weeds because you're a bit like, oh God, this is difficult. Those wins are the things that are going to remind you that you can do things. And I also find myself living in the future. This is a tricky trap because I'm like, well, once I've got my business, once I've got that body, once I've got that thing I want, everything will be fine. But it doesn't work like that. You need to live life now like you're already that person. Why wait? Why put it off? If I want to live my life in a certain way, I need to do that now. And that's what I've started doing, because I used to spend so much time working on my business, so much time working on the things that I'd be like, oh, I can't afford to waste any time. I can't relax. I can't go on little adventures because I need to build the business. And that's not living. I spent so much time living in the past and living in the future that I'm missing the now. It's only now, I said now a lot, that I look at that presence and I look at just experiencing that moment in time, looking around. And that's why I like my dog walks, because I can see my little micro environment change with the flowers and the seasons and just being. I think I've found myself, my younger self, very hard to just be and exist in silence. I feel like a lot of people need to listen to music all the time, podcasts, watch TV, all these things to try and distract themselves from just being. But that's all we are, beings. Anyway, the second thing is overthinking. One of my biggest talents is overthinking. I can overthink any scenario into the worst possible thing in the world. And most of these things never come to fruition. They never happen, or they're never as bad as I think. I've started trying to convince myself to overthink good scenarios. What if I overthink everything to be the best fucking possible thing that can happen, instead of it being the shittest thing that could possibly happen? Something goes wrong. Okay, what is the best thing that can come out of this? Or when I start something new, like making these videos, or anything, like what's the best possible outcome that can happen from this? And the more you start to install that belief, the more you think happier thoughts. Because now I'm like, okay, actually this is going to be fucking sick. Rather than, oh God, don't know about this, I could hurt myself, or, oh, people are going to think I'm cringe. Overthink good things. And the more you keep telling yourself, the more these things will just sink in. And that's the key to this. Now, the third one, I am responsible for everything in my life. My reactions dictate the outcomes. A lot of these things come from stoicism as well, so they're probably Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius things you've heard. I've just put them in my own words and put my own spin on it. Like I said, I used to play the victim a lot, and I see it in people as well, where it's easy enough to blame the government or blame someone else for being rich or blame them because they've got better genetics, or, you know what I mean? Like, it's so easy to blame other people for everything, but it's much more difficult to assume responsibility for everything, to assume everything's your fault. If you look back over the past year, what actions have you done to get towards the goals you want to do? And if you're unhappy with the situation, you need to have an honest look at it and be like, have I done as much as I wanted? I've said I'm going to do all these things, but have I actually moved the needle closer towards my goals? And the likelihood is probably not. It's much easier to blame other people for being better, for being richer, for having better genetics than it is to take a good hard look at yourself and go, yeah, actually, I could have done more. I should have done more. It's only when you assume responsibility for fucking everything, that's when you really unlock the key to making progress. Because that's how I feel now. Everything is my fault. Everything that's happened in the past is my fault. I can take control of my destiny, put steps forwards to get better at the things I want to do. As long as I put my little feet, I say little, they're like big fat hobbit feet, in front of each other and just keep going forwards. Not every day is going to be perfect. It's just showing up and making that consistent change and owning it, being responsible. Now, number 4 is do not complain and do not gossip. This one's a bit hard, especially at work sometimes, working hospitality, because it's easy to complain. I do long 12-hour days and there's always a bit of gossip around, but it's easier to not complain. It's easier to not gossip. These things are pointless habits. They just don't help anyone, do they? Why complain? The thing is, you've got 2 options, haven't you? You can keep complaining about everything, or you can adjust your perspective on the situation, or take yourself out of that situation. There's no point complaining about it because nothing ever changes. So most of the time I try and change my reaction to these things. How can I perceive it? How can I twist it to be a good thing? Or if I truly hate what I'm doing or where I'm at or whatever the situation is, how can I take myself away from it? There's no point complaining about it because then you just become a broken record. You just constantly, you know, that one dude or girl that's just always fucking complaining about everything. And they are energy sucking vampires, charisma vacuums. So don't be that person. And it's bad for your mindset as well if you're constantly complaining. You need to go back to the thing I said in the beginning. Overthink good things. And the other thing is just being grateful for what you've got. Be fucking happy for everything you have. We have all won the lottery ticket if you're growing up or live in a first world country. We are already winning. But because of social media and because of how we are brought up, we always seem to want more. We always want to keep up with the Joneses and all these other things. And it also stems back to the other thing, is me living in the future and being like, when I've got that thing, I'll be happy. But I'm now telling myself, I am happy, I'm grateful. I've got a good job. I've got a lovely place to live. I've got a dog I walk every day. I've got a baby boy. Sure, my circumstances have changed a lot, but I've got a hell of a lot I am grateful for. I get the opportunity to work. That is a privilege, and not many people do. I get the opportunity to go to the gym. A lot of people can't afford gyms. A lot of people don't have access to gyms. Maybe people aren't able-bodied enough to go to the gym. I have the opportunity to go running. All of these things are privileges, yet we all complain and sound like ungrateful sacks because of social media. We see all this crap. But just be grateful for what you've got. To sit down, look around. It's what I write in my journal most days, just to keep me grounded. What am I grateful for? What has been good today? This morning, just going out for a run with my dog. It's something I didn't really want to do, but it's a privilege for me to go out in nature with my dog, run and test myself. Just be grateful. The next one is just don't take things so seriously. Does any of it really matter? Like, we're all going to die, man. Like, what happens at work, what someone says to you, if you embarrass yourself, it doesn't fucking matter. None of it does. Will it matter in 2 weeks? Will it matter in a year? It certainly won't matter in 100 years when we are completely fucking dead. No one's going to remember anything you've done. It's all pointless. If you want to put yourself out there, make videos, take up a challenge, do something, I don't know, just do it. Just do it. We're all going to die. Don't take yourself so seriously. And I find myself, on occasion, taking myself quite seriously sometimes. Like someone might undermine me at work, or someone might say something at work, and I'm like, oh, who the fuck do you think you are? And then I have to try and snap out of it and breathe and be like, it doesn't really matter. Why should what someone says to me affect my outlook on life, the way I feel? If I'm solid and secure as a person, what anyone says to me shouldn't really matter. The best way to do it is in a kind of James Bond fashion, that kind of charisma of like, nothing can affect me. It's all a bit of a laugh, it's a bit of a joke, and just let it wash off you. That's something I'm going to try and remind myself, because there's some days when I'm maybe a little bit tired, a little bit grumpy, and someone says something, or there's a bit of a sarky comment, and I just take it a bit personally. But then I sort of sit with it and I go, actually, what the fuck? Doesn't matter. Don't take yourself so seriously. Try and have a bit of a laugh. Try and just enjoy the ride, because that's all we've got. All we have is this one journey. And whether I mentioned it in another video or something, but I often think like we are specks of dust, conscious specks of dust on a spinning planet in infinite universe. It's fucking crazy. So yeah, don't take yourself so seriously. And well, I've touched on it already, but the last thing on here is you will die. Do not let the fear of judgment stop you. Become relentlessly obsessed in the pursuit of the things that mean something to you. And that's how I feel now. That's why I've started this channel, because I feel like there's a calling in my soul, a tapping on my shoulder, something that's telling me I need to help other men overcome the things I've come. Panic attacks, anxiety, alcoholism, not feeling good enough, wanting to be better, being depressed. I've touched on all of these things at different points, and I've felt so low at different periods with no directions, no self-worth, being very shy, being a sheltered little boy, just living in the shadow, to actually now I'm at the most peace I've ever been. I'm taking small actions every day to get closer to being the man I want to be, getting closer to the goals I want to achieve. And it's just slow and steady. And I've always been the kind of guy that wanted to get everything done immediately, but slowing down to go faster is the key. I can't keep pushing myself with that all or nothing mentality. And it's memento mori. You will die. And it's sort of a scary thought. I think I'd be lying if it wasn't, but it's also comforting, because none of this matters. And the key for me is getting to the end of my life and being like, right, you gave it a good fucking shot. You did your best. Instead of the version of me 6 years ago, that was the drinking, anxious, panic attack riddled guy that could barely leave his flat. He wasn't living, he was just surviving. And that's what these videos are for. These are for the people that want to break free from that grip of just, that's what they're for. Those are the rules I live by every day to win the day. Like I said, not every day's perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But these are the things I remind myself. I write these in my journal. I look at them every day and I just go, okay, what can I do today? And if this video has helped anyone, if it's resonated with anyone, give it a like or drop an Instagram down below where I'm dropping daily stories, reels and things like that. And just hoping this has impact and can help someone. Anyway, peace out.